topic, impact over sympathy. That was the topic I was given today. Yeah, great. I believe we all can see my screen. If you can't see it, can you say hi? Or can you, if you can see my screen, can you see it? Is it visible enough? Let me check. Okay, so people can see my screen. Great. So it makes us to, so you can see my screen, and I'm about to share. I hope it's visible enough. I hope it's bold enough. It's, yeah. So the topic I was given today is impact over sympathy. What a topic. I started my speech by saying something brings everyone in this room together. And one major thing that brings us together, beyond our skin color, beyond our, our likes and dislikes, one major thing that brings us together is our disability. And that's why we are here to talk in and talk through. And this topic, I believe, we talk to us, we talk to you as well as talk to me, because that's why we're here. Disability brought us here together. Almost everybody in this room, or everyone in this room, has one major disability or the other, either born by birth or had an accident at a point in their life. They just had a disability, and they can recall that incident. And for some, this incident has changed your life completely. In fact, for many of us, it has. For me, it has. It has changed your life completely. The topic today is impact over sympathy. And what is impact? I have a notebook here, and I'll be defining impact for us. What is impact? Impact, according to what I wrote down, refers to a strong effect or influence that something has on a person. Impact refers to a strong effect, a strong influence that something has on a person. So when you hear this person was impacted, or there was an impact on this particular nation or this sector, it means that there was a strong wave, a strong effect that everybody can see or feel. That's impact. Now, what's sympathy? What's sympathy? And I think these two words are very ironical, if I'll use that word. They are like more like an irony, because impact doesn't go with sympathy. Sympathy doesn't go with impact, right? Yes. So, what's sympathy? According to what I wrote here, empathy simply means a feeling of pity, a feeling of sorrow or sadness for someone's misfortune. I repeat, sympathy simply means a feeling of pity, a feeling of sorrow or sadness over someone's misfortune. So when you hear, I'm sympathizing with someone, it means something, something sad, something pitiable has happened to that person. Something more like a misfortune has occurred and has happened to that person. That's what in sympathy means. And today we are trying to examine these two words and we're trying to get something out of these two words. We're examining these two words and trying to get a meaning out of it. One way or the other, one of these two words have happened to us. Or let me put it this way or the other, we have had a reason for people to sympathize with us. I'm being real here. We've had a reason to even sympathize with ourselves, because everyone here in this room has a disability. We have had a reason to ask, why me? Why not someone else? My question is, why will it be someone else? Why won't it be you? So we have had a reason to ask ourselves so many questions, like, how is my life going to be after this incident? Maybe you had your disability via accident or something. How is my life going to be after this? What am I going to do next? How am I going to make impact with this condition? How am I going to make impact with this situation? We have had a reason to ask ourselves. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. Let me see. 1 minute. Okay, let's see. One sec. So okay, I'm going to the next slide. Well, so now we are here. Now we are on this slide. I believe everyone can see the slide very well. I'm actually laughing because the slide, I planned it somehow, but it's giving me another shape. But still, it's fine. We are here. So, to make impact, which is the main thing we are here to talk about, we are not here to talk about our sympathy. We are here to talk about how we can make impact despite the sudden situation that has befallen almost every one of us here in this room, or every one of us in this room. So how can we make impact? And I outlined here that to make impact, there are three things you should understand to make impact. Goals. Your goals are very important. Your goals are what will produce success. And the numbers of success, or the amount of success you have, is what can accumulate to impact. So it goes with goals, then success, and you become an impact. Get it? Great. So when I talk about goals, this is the second half of 2024. The question I have for we all here living with disability is, do we have goals for the second half of 2024? Do we even set goals for our life? Do we set goals for ourselves? Do we set goals for our future? Or we allow life to just roll and roll and roll as it is? If there are no goals, there will be no success. And if you can't count the number of success you have per time, it means that you can't make impact. It means that the road to impact will be very far from you. Sorry to say. So it starts from your goals. It starts from your goals. You have to sit yourself down, irrespective of what has happened or what may be happening to you, and say, okay, what can I achieve? This is the second half of 2024. We have 6 more months to go. What can I do? What can I do differently? What can I do better? And pin down 1, 2, 3, 4 goals that you'll be looking at day after day and telling yourself, I want to do this. I want to do that. For example, LBD here, this meeting we're having started up as a goal. An organization had something in mind. We had a target, we had a goal. We want to bring people with disability into one room, into one system, and we want to speak to them concerning different things: tech, leadership, personal development. It was a goal. And the reason why it's happening today is because we sorry about that. Thank you. And the reason why it's happening today is because we have hit that target. One sec, please. Or we have hit that goal. That's why it's happening today. But it didn't start as a goal. It didn't start as a goal. Yeah, it didn't start as a success story, rather. It started as a goal, a plan, a mind map. Yes, we can call it a mind map, something you have in your head, a plan. And now today it becomes a reality because you are here, I am here. So we should understand really, really well that for anything to come into manifestation, it has to start in seed form. It has to start as a goal. It has to start here. It has to start as a mind map, which we are doing right now. It has to start as a mind map. You can't just, no, nothing will happen if you don't make anything happen. Nothing will happen if you don't make anything happen. So that's where the goal comes in. Then it goes into success. And then voila, you have your impacts: the goals, the success, and the impact. And that's it for this slide. I'm trying to move to the next slide since my laptop is having a good day today. Okay, so I will just pick it from here then. So, okay, 1 minute. Let me see. Oh, great. Oh, great. So I get it now. Oh, this was what I was looking for. So the goals, hope you can still see me. The goals, the success, and the impact. This was what I was looking for. Yeah. So let me repeat it again. The goals, don't forget that. The success and the impact. Now, the next thing is with respect to the goals. I think I said something about that. When there are no goals, you can't achieve success. When there are no goals, you can't achieve success. I said that already. And another thing we should also know, or is what it's noteworthy, is that you won't succeed if you don't believe you are worthy of success. I know everybody in this room has a disability. I believe we can all see me. I just want to confirm that. Or we can all see the screen rather. Yeah. I know everybody in this room has a disability. I said that earlier before, and I'm still saying it again. But however, the question is, do you want to make impact? Do you want to make impact? That's a very big question. That's a big question. Do you want to make impact? How can you start making that impact? You must believe you are worthy of success. If you don't have any belief system, if your guards are down, if you don't believe you are worthy of success, you can never start, you can never even be successful in the first place. So it has to start with a mindset. It has to start with a belief system. It doesn't start with giving you cash or giving you money. It doesn't start with filling your bank account with everything. It doesn't even start with someone creating job opportunities for you. It starts with a mind. Somebody writes mindset. Somebody put it on the chat box, right? It starts with my mindset. 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 That's what we should think about. It starts with my mindset. So that's the main thing. It has to start with your mindset. You should believe you are worthy of success. Another person, please write it on that chat. I am worthy of success. Yeah, you have to confess it. You have to declare it. This is not a motivational speech. This is actually the real thing. You have to declare, you have to confess it. Even if you don't feel like it right now, you have to confess it. I am worthy of success. Because if you truly want to answer that question, do you believe do you want to make impact, then it means you have to believe you are worthy of success. Believe it. It doesn't matter what everybody says about you. Just believe it. Just look yourself at the mirror and tell yourself, I'm worthy of success. You have to believe it. That's it. It's true and true. It's yes and yes. It's never no. It's never false. It's true and true, and it's yes and yes. So you have to believe it that you are worthy of success, irrespective of what you see, irrespective of the disability you see. I see myself every day in the mirror before I come out. Before I leave the house, I see myself. Even this morning, even this evening, before I came in here, I saw myself. But in all, I told myself, "You're worthy of success. You're worthy of success." At first, it was not entering into me, but as I kept repeating that word, I started feeling that warmth in me. It started entering into me. And I am worthy of success. So I really want this thing to dawn on someone with a disability right now, listening to me in Kenya, in Ghana, in Nigeria, or probably in Kenya, in Ghana, in Nigeria, or even in Cameroon. I want you to see this as your reality, that I am worthy of success. The next thing I want us to talk about is, yes, you're worthy of success, but success is a journey. 1 minute, please. Okay, sorry about that. So success is a journey. Yes, you're worthy of success, but success is a journey. Success is a journey. It's a journey to a place I call impact. So it's an everyday journey. It's an everyday work. It's not a get how do they call it? A get rich quick scheme. It's something you need to keep moving and moving and moving and moving. It's not even a pool, is it? How do they call that? But it's not even a get rich quick scheme. Success has to be a journey. And if success is a journey, you should have a starting point and a destination. You should have somewhere you're starting from. I know earlier I talked about goals, right? I talked about goals. So we're trying to merge all slides together. And you should have where you're starting from And you should have where you're seeing, the place you are seeing. The mind, you should have a mind map. You should have a destination, what you foresee. That's it. So success is a journey. So if you believe you're worthy of success, you should be ready, willing to take that journey. Some of us have not even started the journey, but some of us are actually in the journey. And I want to encourage you, if you're in the journey, continue. Continue. Because the destination you're going to is impact. Impact. Global impact. That's your destination. Impact. So in all we have said here is set goals. Keep learning. Don't stop until your life illustrates what you want to achieve. Don't stop until your life illustrates what you want to see. That's the passion that keeps me going. That's the fire that keeps me going. I don't stop. It doesn't mean that there won't be blocks, there won't be roadblocks, there won't be traffic on the way. There will be. There are. In fact, there should be. So you prepare for problems. And when problems come, you should just have that happy spirit that, okay, it's a problem. I'm going to solve it and I'm going to sort it. You just have to have it. One thing about disability that I have come to understand, about my own kind of disability, I've come to understand is that persistency is always the key. I've learned to live my life doing the same thing others do, but doing them differently. And I believe everyone here with a disability would acknowledge that they have learned to do some things differently, more than they have had to do some things differently beyond the normal way of doing it. Maybe you have to write differently. Maybe you have to talk differently. Maybe you have to use a hearing aid to listen to something. So it's actually, we have actually started the journey. We have started it. Let's push through and let's continue. The next thing on my slide here is highest value and lowest value. Highest value and lowest value. And somebody will ask, what does this mean? If you can see this diagram here, you could see that there was a yellow arrow, and this yellow arrow is going upward, right? It's moving up. And in between, there is another arrow here coming downward, and it means the lowest value. Remember, our topic of today is the discussion we have here is impact over sympathy. So we have highest value versus lowest value. Now let's dive into this thing. Let's talk, real things beyond story. What's highest value? Highest value here refers to the most important and impactful strengths an individual has. The most important and impactful strength an individual has. Lowest value refers to the least important and the least impactful strengths an individual has. Every human being on earth, whether disability or no disability or non-disability, every human being on earth has that highest value and lowest value. Every one of us do have it. And something you should understand about highest value, which is my point of focus today, is that you don't need motivation to do what is highest on your value. You don't need motivation to do it. I started this meeting on a very high pitch. I've been speaking for over how many minutes? Some persons can't speak like me because, that's not part of their makeup. That's not part of their makeup. You don't need motivation to do what's on your highest value. That's something about the highest value. Your authentic you is around your highest value. For me personally, one of my highest value, or some of my highest value is speaking. As you can see right now, I am so passionate. I'm very passionate. I'm more like the vibe in the space. Just put me somewhere and start a discussion with me. I can keep going. That's it. I can keep going. I'll have to be the one to stop because I don't want to stop. So there's some people like us, and speaking is just our default mood. Let me call it that way. Default.
Sorry to cut you.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry to cut you. your slide.
You can't see my slide?
Yes,
All
it's
true?
off. No, worthy of success. That's where we are. I
Worthy of success.
think that's the
Okay.
second slide. But what slide?
Okay. Thank you for that. Worthy of success. I used to see my slide. No? Can you see it now?
All right, we are with you now. Highest value versus lowest value. We are with you.
Okay, I have to go into this then. Okay. So highest. I used to see in the highest value, or it's off, it's done, it's out. Is it out? But you can still see it.
Yes. Yeah, it's out. Highest value
It's,
versus lowest value. We are there. We are with you.
okay, you can see it. So in any way you can't see it, please someone to just tell me, you know what, I can't see it. So I mean the host should tell me, you know, I can't see it. So I talked about the highest value, I talked about the lowest value. And if you can see the slide now, you can see that there's an arrow protruding going upward, which is the highest value. It's on a yellow symbol, if you can see it. So I talked about the highest value going upward. And if you can see this other arrow here, if you can see my cursor, the lowest value is going downwards, going downwards. So highest value versus lowest value. Now I'm going to the next slide. And if you can see the next slide, just tell me you can see. So I am sure we are in the same on the same page. Can you see the next slide, please?
Not yet, man. No, no.
Wow. So I have to go down. Okay. Okay. I have to just use this then. So you can see this, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So let me just use this one. Let me just use this one because of time. So I was trying to let me just check. Let me be sure. So we talked about the highest value, and the highest value is the most important or the most impactful strength an individual has. The most important, you can see the arrow going upward, the arrow is going up. The most important and the most impactful strength. So just think about yourself. What's my strength? What do I think is my strength? Because you have to know yourself, you have to know yourself. And that's the first stage of leadership. The first stage of leadership of anybody who wants to, you know, take up any leadership role. And when I mean leadership role, I don't mean being a manager. I don't mean being having a big organization. Everyone, I earlier said anyone can be a leader. And if you are in a home, you're a father, you're a mother, or even you are even an uncle and auntie, you're already leading someone, right? You, in fact, if you are born, just being born, it means that you are leading. You are leading. Just be born. It means somewhere, somehow, you give someone a direction, you can tell someone, this is the way to go, this is how it should be done. And indirectly and directly, you are leading. So the highest value, one thing you should know about the highest value, as I earlier said, is it is the most important and the most impactful strength that anybody has, anybody can have. And now going to the lowest value. I earlier said that the lowest value is the least important or impactful strength an individual possesses. And I talked about you don't need motivation to do what's highest on your value. And I gave an example of myself. Speaking is highest on my value. You can wake me up anytime, any day, and say, you know what? I want to speak on something like this. I want to speak on this. All I need to do is just to do my research, and I come out just the way I'm here. I come out gallantly because speaking, coaching, counseling, these are my highest value. And I can do it anywhere, I can do it anytime, like I am doing it now. That's something you should know. Highest value is something you can do at any time, any day. You feel like doing it with or without being paid. This is something that gives you motivation. You don't get motivated to do it. You know, anything that someone is persuading you to do, just know that some of those things are your lowest value. You are being persuaded to do them. You are being sorry about that.
Amen.
Oh my God.
Amen.
I'm sorry. 1 minute.
Jesus.
Okay. Host, what's happening? You're live. I really don't get it. So, sorry about that, everybody. Okay. Oops. Sorry about that. So, can everybody see my screen, please? Let's go back to normal, right? So, can everybody see my screen, please? If you can see my screen, just tell me you can see it, because I can't see you.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Oh, great. Thank you for that. So we're back to our reality, right? Now let's go back to where we are coming from. We just talked about the highest value, and we just talked about your authentic you is your highest value. So I have a question here for everyone, and my question is simple. What are your core strengths? What are your key competence? You should think about those things. What are your core strengths? What are your key competence? By the time you think through, you can even think throughout the night. What are your core strengths? What are your key competence? By the time you think through all of these things, you can be able to write down some of this core strength of yours and pin them into and channel them into a goal. Channel them into a goal. Channel them into a goal, especially for the second half of 2020. 4, channel them into a goal. You can even build on them, build on those core strength, build on those skill. What I'm doing here right now is I'm building on my skill. Yes, I know I can talk. Yeah, I know everybody can talk. But if I want to be a professional or an expert in this field and do it well, it means I have to develop my skill. It means I have to build on this core strengths. It means I have to build on my highest value, which is one of the things I'm doing right now. And I think it's something someone here needs to go in and say, yes, I know I have a disability. Yes, I know I can't do everything. But what are my core strengths? What can I do? What are my highest value? What are my highest value? And pitch your tent on those highest value. Pitch your tent, write down 1, 2, 3 things that you know you can do very well, and see how you can build a skill on it. Either go learn on it, learn more about it so you can be an expert or a professional in it, develop it, read more about it, how to develop it, or something. You just have to start something. That's what I mean about starting and having a goal. And from those goals comes success. And from that success, you become an impact. And that's what I'm talking about. I believe somebody understand what I just said or what I just shared about highest value. I believe somebody just understand what I just shared about highest value and lowest value. So that's what I'm talking about on highest value. Thank you. Sorry, 1 minute. I just need to use my laptop to. Okay. Okay, so the next on my slide. Sorry, I just need to. I just had. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Oops, sorry about that. So the next on my slide, it's all about our scars. I said earlier that what brings everyone in this room together on this platform It's one thing only. It's not about our skin color. Yes, that may bring us together, but that's not the only thing bringing us together. One of the main reasons why we are here today is because we are a community of people living with disabilities. We are a community of people living with disabilities. And let me just give you a brief story about myself. Let me just give you a brief story. I hope you can see this very well. I just hope you can see this very well. And if you can't see, just tell me you can't see. But let me just give you a brief story about myself. And this section is features color your scars. Everyone here has a story to tell. Everyone here has a story to tell about their disability. So mine, and I said here that a scar. I said here, sorry, 1 minute. Let me just bring it out. Yeah, I said here that your scar is your pain point. Your scar is your pain point. That moment, that time when you had that accident, that moment your hand was amputated, that moment it dawned on you that, wow, I'm different. I can still remember that moment. It dawned on me that, wow, I think I am different from every other person in my family. I think I'm not the same. That moment it dawns on you that you are different, that your life might be completely different from every other regular life. And today, the section here, right here, is color your scars. So let me tell you a brief thing about myself. Maybe you don't know me. I know Mr. Nelson talked about me, but it's good I talk about myself, and I know you have been reading what what's projected here. So about me, I have the privilege and the opportunity to be born without the right arm. I've lived all my life like this, like all my life like this. And I embraced life at the age of 13. I embraced my disability at the age of 13. It dawned on me at the age of 13 that, wow, life is different. Life might be different from me. For me, life will be different. And so I had to embrace that thing. And I think some persons are at this stage. Somebody right now listening to me, you just need to embrace that you are on a wheelchair. You just need to embrace that you might just be paralyzed for a very long time. I don't want to use forever, but I want to use for a very long time. You just need to embrace where you are right now, like where you are right now. You need to embrace that you may not be able to hear, you may not be able to speak. You need to embrace that you may not be able to see except colors. You may not be able to see any other thing except black and white. And that was what happened to me at the age of 13. And I faced several rejections, even after embracing all of this stuff and deciding to, do things differently to achieve the same thing. I still faced several rejections at the age of 21 to 27. So somebody say, wow, Jennifer, you're a beautiful girl. Or let me use my name, the name I call myself right now. Waire, you're a very beautiful girl. Do you want to tell me you have faced rejection? Yes, behind this beauty, there are a lot of scars. But the thing about these scars is some completely different. It didn't just end for me at the age of 27. At 27, I decided. So it means somebody has to make a decision right now. I decided to gradually start working. I had to start moving at the age of 27. I had to start moving from my winning I had to start moving, from my winning point. Yeah, from my winning point. I have to start seeing myself as worthy of success. I've said that earlier. You have to believe you are worthy of success. At that age, it dawned on me that, you know what, Waire? You have to believe that you are worthy of success. So everything I'm telling you today, I have experienced it. I am still working on it. I'm still working on them. So I'm not here to give you paper. I'm here to give you practical. And if you move on this same line, you will get to where I am and even go beyond. Because I got my reality quite late at the age of 27 thereabouts. But someone here is 18, someone here is 15, someone here is 17, and someone here might even be 35. Who cares? What's there? Who cares? Someone here can even be 37. Who cares? Who cares? So at that age, it dawned on me that, you know what? I have to start living my life, not from the point of sympathy, but from the point of impact. It hits me hard. I had to decide that I have to start living my life from my winning point and not from my wounds. Not from my wounds. And voila, I'm still doing it. Like I'm here with you right now, right? I'm still doing it. So everyone here, color your scars. Color your scars. Make that decision. Tell yourself that hard but real truth that I have to start living my life. I have to start working from my winning points, not from my wounds, not from that wounding point, not from that scar. Begin to color your scars so that when you start telling people that I was like this, they will say, no, you don't look like it. Yes, I don't look like it because I have moved from it. And I'm still moving, like I said, and I'm still walking. I'm still walking. I'm still moving. Is there somebody here that wants to move? If you want to move, this is a good time to move. This is a very, very good time to move. If you just decide that, you know what, I want to move, this is a very, very good time to move. This is a very, very good time to move. This is a very, very good time to move. So if you can see my next slide, I'll have to keep moving. If you see this next slide, there are two pictures here. I'm almost done, so don't worry. I'm almost done with this meeting. There are two pictures here in this next slide. One is a pond, another is an ocean. Can somebody tell me something that you have observed about these two pictures? I want someone to say something. I've been speaking. I want somebody, Mr. Nelson, please unmute someone just to say something that they see about these two pictures. There are two pictures. Just tell me something that you can spotlight about these two pictures. The difference. Mr. Nelson, just unmute somebody that has a very calm atmosphere to say something. I'm waiting.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello. Are you
What's your name,
getting me,
please?
ma?
Yes, what's your name, please, sir?
My name is Tawang Spencer. I'm from Cameroon.
Oh, Tawa from Cameroon. Nice to meet you, Tawa. Do you have a disability?
Yes, ma'am.
What nature is it, if I may ask?
I don't know how to call it. I always face because in calling it, but I have disability with my spine. I am not
Oh,
straight.
okay. In your
I have a
spine.
disability with my spine. Yeah.
Oh,
I have
thank.
how can I call it? They call it locally hunchback.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that name. I know
Yeah,
that
but
name.
I don't know how I can call it professionally kind of.
Okay, that's fine. So thank you for being for being how will I put, thank you for telling us a lot about you. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. So can you give us something here?
All right, ma'am. For the pond, what I can see for the pond is I can see fishes there.
Okay.
I and the ocean I can see just a whale. Or is that a whale? Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, something between the whale and the shark, thereabouts. You're right. So
I can
what
see,
is the, yeah, keep on going. Keep on going.
yes. For the pond, I can see different color, another color of water, and the way the ocean is. There's another color. The pond, the ocean, there is a sun rays in the ocean, and the pond, I can't see sun rays in the ocean.
Okay, sorry. I'm very sorry to cut you short. Let me narrow down my question. What can
Okay,
you say
ma'am.
about the size of the fish in both
Okay.
yeah, in both pictures?
All right, ma'am. The pond has small fishes. They are small in size, while the ocean is big.
Great, great. That's actually what I wanted. Thank you so
All right.
much. Thank you
All right,
so much,
ma'am.
Spencer, for that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
So,
ma'am.
yes, thank you. So you can see as Spencer Taiwan actually said, he said he could see the size of the fish in the pond and the size of the fish in the ocean. So you can see that those both pictures have two different size. And just imagine it, a pond and an ocean. My question for you all, which we don't need to answer, is if you take the ocean, the fish here in this ocean, and put it on in the pond, do you think this whale or this shark can be able to swim freely in the pond? Do you think so? I don't think so, because the pond will be too small to accommodate his freedom. The pond will be too small to accommodate him to flap his wings and do his stuff, and even look for food to eat, because sometimes some of these creatures in the ocean don't eat, sometimes they don't eat normal food. Some of these creatures even feed on other fishes. He may even go into the pond and eat all the fish. They feed on other fish, rather. He may go into the pond and eat all the fish there, right? He may go in there and he may not be a good scene for the smaller fish. He may just go in there and cause damage. and at the end of it all, every one of them may die. Yeah, they may just die, because it's not conducive for its environment. Now let me go into the next slide. Let me go into my next slide. Let me go into my next slide. And so this is my next slide. Example of fish in the pond. We just talked about fish in the pond. And an example of fish in the pond, there are small fish. There are a lot of small fish in the pond. We have catfish. We have goldfish. Those are fish in the pond. Examples of those fish, in the ocean. We have sharks. This kind of, this kind of fish are not your friends. They eat anything that has blood. They eat anything that has blood. We have whales. These are their size are huge, like we saw right now. Now let's bring this home to what we are trying to talk about: impact. To make impact, you must come out of your pond. Who wants to be like the fish in the pond? Nobody. Of course, we are not animals, yeah. But who would like to be such? No one. Who would like to be as big, free, flappy like those in the ocean? Everyone would want to. And of course, as I said, we are not animals. But let's just imagine which of those animals you would want to, not you won't even want to be like anyway, but which of those animals do you admire, that you like? Even if the shark eats human, they are still honored. People would like to see a documentary of them, how they are feeding on blood and stuff like that. So there's someone here that you just need to change your destination. Come out of your pond. You're like a fish in the pond. You're around your disability. You're around your disability. You're living like, that's the only space. That's the only space you can be. And that's why we are talking about impact over sympathy. You're looking like that's the only space that is for you. You have to come out of that pond. You have to come out of that pond. You have to come out of that pond. You have to stop swimming in the pond, because people who make impact, they are not in the pond. They are not there. People who make impact, they are not there. I watch documentaries sometimes and I see how those whales, how everybody wants to go and see the whale. They want to go see whales. They want to go see how those whales, they flap their wings, how those whales move around. I watch it. And I see even children are happy to even see sharks. So we have to stop swimming in the pond. You have to tell yourself, you know what, disability doesn't have me. And that's why I tell myself every day anyway. The ocean is big enough for every one of us. If you really want to make impact, so that's a question. Do you really want to make impact? Think big. Enlarge your confidence. Enlarge your mindset. And that's one thing LBD is trying to do here. We are trying to enlarge your confidence. We are trying to enlarge your mindset. That there is a pond. There's a pond. You don't need to drag yourself. If you go back to the picture of this pond, you will see a lot of small fish all around. But the picture of the ocean, just one whale It's occupying a massive space. I don't know if you can see what I'm saying, but I'm saying it here. Just one whale here, with what I'm saying here, just one whale or one shark, whichever it is occupying a massive space. But for the other ones, the fish in the pond, everyone, they are all around each other, they are all joined together. They're all joined together. But just one whale alone is occupying a massive, it's taking territories because he believes he's worthy of it. He believes he's worthy of it. And that's the belief I really want us to have right now. That belief that you are worthy of success, irrespective of your disability. That belief that you are worthy of it. You're worthy of it. I am worthy of it. You are worthy of it. Now, to end my speech for today, I believe somebody has been getting some energy, and that's what we do here. We try to give you energy rather. So when you go out there and someone tells you, you're not worthy of success, you tell yourself, I am worthy of success, and you act like success. You act like it, and in just a matter of time, people will call you the name you have decided to call yourself. People will call you the name that you have decided to name yourself after. I asked Mr. Spencer, what's your name? And he told me, my name is Spencer. Taiwan, I think something like that. He told me that's his name. I can't call him Nelson because that was not what he called himself. I have to call him his name. So it's just a matter of time. By the time you start implementing this technique, people will call you the name you have called yourself, or you are calling yourself right now. Now, to end my speech for today, we have two things here: perfection versus consistency. Perfection versus consistency. And if you can see there is a graph here that is going upward. It's moving upward. Perfection versus consistency. Perfection versus consistency. I'm going to the next, and I think the last one. I think is the last one for today. So, what is perfection? What is consistency? And what does it bring to the table? We should understand something about perfection. We should understand something about consistency. As people with disability, we don't because of our disability, we have that default in us. Let me not use what we have it, but by default, we may not be perfect. In fact, we are not perfect by default. We are not perfect by default. I could remember the first time I started working after my NYC, and I was typing the laptop, and I discovered that I had a very low typing speed, unlike my other colleague in the office. If my boss gave us something to do, I could spend hours drafting that document, drafting the agreement. And my colleague in the office, they'll just use their 10 fingers and they are just typing like, they're typing like robots. They're just typing like robots. They're just typing. And I'm like, oh my God, I really don't want my boss to lay me off. I don't want them to sack me in this office because I'm not keeping to time. I'm not, stuff like that. I had that feeling of imperfection. I had that feeling of I'm not like this person that has 10 fingers. I can't do like him. I can't do like her. At that time, I had that feeling. And I know there are so many people who have this feeling of I can't walk like my sister. I can't hear. I can't see. I can't do this. I can't do that. And that's a state of perfection. But however, I have some news for you today. And the news is not to tell you that you're going to be perfect. No, far from it. Far from it. I talked about accepting yourself. I talked about that, right? So the news here, 1 minute. The news here is not to tell you that, wow, I'm going to do something to make everybody perfect. But the news here is to tell you that perfection will only bring discouragement to you. Perfection will only bring continuous depression to you. Perfection will only bring a not good enough attitude to you. It won't take you far. But if you are consistent on what you have, the goals you have set for yourself, if you are consistent on it, irrespective of your environment, irrespective of your disability, then you will have continuous learning. If you're consistent, then you will have a winning mindset. You have a mindset of, I am worthy of success. If you're consistent, you will be persistent. You will be persistent until you get it right. Even if you get it right by doing it in another way, but you will still be persistent to find an answer, to find a solution, and you will have an unbroken focus, which is key. Unbroken focus. If you are not consistent, today you just dump your books and you say, you know what, I'm not doing again. I don't want to go out because so many persons are going to see me on wheelchairs. I'm not going to speak because people will know I can't talk. Or I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to even apply for anything or even learn more. Because what's the use? What's the use of it? But I'm here to tell you that there is a difference between where you are and where you are going to. And that difference is your consistency. It's not your perfection. No. It's not your perfection. It's your consistency. And that's why you are here, to gain some energy, to keep you focused on that goal. Not everybody's going to do tech, I understand. Although LBD is advocating for it because it provides you remote work, a work-life balance. And there's a speaker tomorrow morning, for those who don't know, who is coming beautifully to talk on tech skills, tech roles, how to get into it, how to empower yourself, how to build your skill, how to make money for yourself, how to build a new skill. And I will acknowledge, or rather, I will enjoin everybody. I will advise everybody rather to come tomorrow to listen to him. But however, my message today is, stop focusing on yourself as trying to be perfect. Focus on consistency. Some of you are doing something right now. What are you doing? What you're doing, be consistent in it. Learn more about it. Build yourself. Personal development. Keep a winning mindset in your head. Be persistent. Have unbroken focus. And if you can do all of this, if you can be consistent, if you and I can decide that I want to be consistent in the remaining part of 2024, then one thing is going to happen. Just one thing. And this is it. This is it. This is it. If you, as a person with a disability, choose to be consistent in that skill, in that role, in that goal you have planned, because we talked about goal in the beginning, and you have decided to accept your imperfection, accept how imperfect you are, but you choose to be consistent in improving yourself, then the end result is that you are driving yourself to a change. You are driving yourself into an impactful life. You're driving yourself to achieve a goal. So I said here, as a person with disability, accept how imperfect you are, but be consistent in improving yourself and trying to drive change. I will repeat it 2 times. I repeat, please. As a person with a disability, you and I accept how imperfect you are, but be consistent in improving yourself and trying to drive change. If we can do this in Africa, if you can do this in Cameroon, if you can do this in Nigeria, if you can do this if you are in Kenya, if you can do this if you're in Ghana, then we have been able to achieve something. And what have we been able to achieve? This is it. Let me go back to the first slide. This is what we have been able to achieve. If we can do it. Goals, success, and impact. I repeat, if we succeed in doing these things I have just said, then we have been able to achieve this. Goals, our goals will be met. Monthly goals, quarterly goals, yearly goals, success. And then we get to impacts. I believe that with these few words of mine, oh my God, I'm just laughing. I'm sorry about that. Well, not a bad thing, of course. I believe with these few words of mine, I've been able to share light on this topic, which is impact over sympathy. Thank you a million times for having me, LBD. Thank you for having me, people with disabilities in Cameroon, in Kenya, in Ghana, in Nigeria. Thank you for making me to do what is my highest value, what I would always want to do. And as you know, LBD is committed to promoting tech skills, leadership skills for people with disabilities in Africa. Thank you for being here today. And that's it for me from my end. Thank you.
All right, thank you, man. Can we appreciate Waire? Can we appreciate our director? Show it through the emojis and any form you can do it.
Ma. Thank you.
You. Ma, we are grateful for being willing to speak to us and to motivate us at the same time. Is there be any question, please? Before she goes, can we ask her question, please? If you have a question, please kindly raise your hand and let me unmute you so that you can talk. Ma, please, before anybody raise their hand, right? I think I have a question as a person. Okay. In our last session, which was last Saturday, Mr. Remy said something that disability can be mental, it can be physical, it can be social, that anybody can live with any disability. But I want to ask a question regarding this session we had at. We are talking about impact. We in Africa, right? Permit me to use this word. Can I say we have a disadvantage, right? Living in Africa, even a normal human body who does not have any who is not physically challenged, right, can barely make impact in Africa, except you have to go the extra mile and you are being assisted, or you have a leverage, a platform you can leverage on to rise effort in. Now, narrowing down to persons living with disability, how can these persons, despite the negativism coming from persons around them, their physical outlook, if I'm permitted to use that at the same time, and how can they really make impact? You came from Africa, you grew up in Nigeria, of course, you schooled in Nigeria, and you were able to rise to a global stage, let me use that word, at this point, that people now reference you. So persons who are not living in this Africa, Ghana, Cameroon, Kenya, Nigeria, and many other African countries, how can we really see that we overcome the challenges that people bring to us, even our family members, in order for us to be impactful in our society, please?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nelson, for that question. So one of the, let me use myself as a point of, as an example, I think last year, I have a friend of over 9 years, and he said something to me last year. He asked me a question last year, and okay, so I think I'm hearing some background noise. I don't know where it's coming from. If you could help me with that. So, and this was a question. I was actually thinking my friend, has a very good understanding about me. Like I was actually thinking, maybe sorry, 1 minute. Yeah. I was really thinking my friend has a very good understanding about me, because I've known my friend for a very long time. Probably 1 minute, sorry. I'm just trying to get something in here. Sorry, 1 minute. Trying to get something. Okay. So he asked me a question, and he said that how do you get to achieve so much? Over the years, I've known you. How do you get to just keep moving, and keep achieving as much as you want to? And one of the answers, actually, it hits me like I didn't know I was achieving so much. That was how I felt, like that. But still, I had to give him an answer. And I said, actually, I try to focus on the things I can do. And I don't really, I know, yeah, I try to focus on the things I can do. And I don't pay so much attention on the things I can do. And he said, wow. I said, yes. I try my best to just keep my head on the things I can do, the things I know I can do. So one of the things, as the thing is, like you talked about, there are people with this disability and people with non-disabilities face some general challenges. But what can really help, let me use that word, help, is focus on the things you can do and see how you can do them and do them well. Focus on the things you can do and see how you can do them and build on them. And as you do that, there are factors, there are elements that are going to help you to bring those possibilities to life. Those elements, I talked about elements. I don't want to go into elements. But focus on the things you can do. Just keep your focus first. Keep your focus on the things you can, because if you don't focus on the things you can do, if you play with the regular, everybody is not having it, everybody is not doing it. And another thing I do for myself is whenever I feel down, whenever the ships are down, I listen to people, the stories of people who have made it. There was a time whereby I had to sit myself down. I had to do a research on some people in the tech space, people not in the tech space. I had to do a research on them. I had to copy paste, read about them. I had to do a research on CEO of Facebook, how he started from Harvard, how he had challenges. I had to do a research on some people, and I had to also listen to some other people. I know I was listening to this lady, the CEO of this oil well. I know I was listening to her on one of this TV station in Nigeria. I know some of you may not know her, and she talked about how she was a tailor. She was sewing for big people in the military era, I think so. Maybe not even the military era, but I know she was talking about herself and how she was fighting for this oil well. She was fighting for oil well, and she was the only female fighting for oil well. And she fought for that oil well for about 3 years. She was fighting for it. She kept fighting for it. So I was listening to her because sometimes, if you really want to be great, you need to listen to stories of people who are great. But you don't listen to their stories from the point of greatness. Try to picture their story from the point where they started from. If I sit with a CEO, I sit with a millionaire or billionaire, I won't ask the billionaire how you became big. I will ask the billionaire, what were your struggles and how did you overcome them? That's one of the things I'm going to ask them. I want to know your struggles, because the truth is that your struggles may be similar to mine. They may be similar to mine. So I need to know your struggles. So when I get there, I want to know how to overcome them. I even want to know what is ahead of me. What were your struggles and how can I overcome them? I'm not going to ask you, wow, you're great. Wow, what are you? What's your the annual return of your company or something? What were your struggles? How did you overcome them? So if I have a 1 minute or 2 minutes with anybody, I want to know their struggles. I want to know how they overcame them, because somehow some of these struggles are generic. They are generic. But if you can know those potholes, you should, when it gets to your turn, you should not, it won't, one of the things it does to me, that when it gets to my turn, I will just take it that it is normal. That's normal with everybody. And I take it as one of those potholes or one of those things I will just need to overcome. And if you have added knowledge or added wisdom, it means that you will be able to quickly overcome it, because the person who overcame it even without mentorship. So if you had that level of advice, you would know how to navigate that season. So I am not here to tell you that the struggles are not real. I'm not here to tell you that. I'm only here to tell you that at a point when the ships are down, gather some research, read about the people who created things. I know I read about the CEO of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. I read about Mark Zuckerberg. I read about even the lawsuit he had with the co-founders at a point where they felt that he took the ideas and he did it by himself. How Facebook started, how he got his first investor. Facebook was at the verge of going down when he got his first investor to invest in Facebook. How he had to, leave school for that. How he had to start a business. I think he rented I know I did that research. He rented a room or something like that. After he left school, he rented a room just to be focused for that time. He had to be focused. So when I read those things, I know that these struggles are similar to men. Just have it in your mind. These struggles are similar to men. Yours may be glaring because you have a disability, but it doesn't mean that somebody else with no disabilities is not facing something similar. Yours may be physical, maybe more visible because you have your disability, but it doesn't mean it's not similar to men. So I want you to always have that mindset that you focus on those things you can do while you navigate through the things you cannot do. Yes, more questions. Thank you. So we can call it a day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. There was a clarity there. Spencer, your hand is raised. Do you have a question, please?
Yes, sir. I have a question. Um, I would just love to get like 1 minute to express myself first, then before asking my question. The new name that you just I don't know how to pronounce it very well. I know it's Jennifer. I will know it with time.
That's fine.
So yeah, when I was growing up, I never had the disability. It was when I was in primary school. I had the doctor diagnosed me for tuberculosis of the spine, and due to that, it caused a deformation of my spine. And as a result of that, I had a hunch on my back. So as I was growing up from that level, I got a lot of insults from friends. I began friends due to the insults. It began to make me to be isolated. Even in secondary schools, teachers, when they want to insult me, when they want to shout at me, sometimes friends will do mistakes. They will come and look at me. Then they will insult me with my disability and everything and stuff like that. So there are a lot of stories. But I just want to thank you first for this opportunity. It's really a real opportunity. Every word you said today is just some things that at a certain point in my life, I just feel like, oh, I just have to care less of everything of what everybody's saying and just do the hard things I do and stuff like that. I'm a bachelor's degree holder in agronomy. Yeah. So, and actually, due to that, before I reached that level, I've done many odd jobs, even though the doctor instructed me not to carry anything on my head on everything because it's going to too much labor the spine and it may retard my growth. I'm not short, I'm not tall, but I have a height that people least expect that I could ever get to that kind of height due to the disability. And again, I want to appreciate because all the lesson from the module one, from the first session, the last year up to now, I have learned a lot of things and I've been equipped and everything. Sometimes when I want to go out there, I will carry cement. Sometimes I'll go to chantiers where they're building houses. I will go to work chantier, learn all kind of trade, hard labor, because I spoke to myself that no, like the illustration you gave for the pond and the ocean. I spoke to myself, no, I need to go to the ocean. I need to work hard. I need to see wherever or whatever the doctor say I should not do, I must do because I don't have to sit down, everyone just giving me money. Or I don't have to do some certain things. I'll be crying, oh, give me this, give me that. I'm a man, I'm a guy. So I have to go out there to hustle whatever it takes that will make me to hustle like hard labor to even get an income to fend for myself. So I have to do all of those things. So firstly, I want to appreciate you so much, man. I want to appreciate you for this opportunity. I'm so happy. I'm overwhelmed with joy. I'm overwhelmed with joy. And secondly, my question is, you spoke and you talk about you give the illustration of the pond and the ocean. Now, there are some people that maybe they are still in the pond, and due to this lesson this evening, we they would love to leave the pond to the ocean. And from the another difference I see in the from the pond and the ocean, I saw that the ocean has some fishes there. And it's not only the whale that is there. There's some fishes that are in the ocean. So an ocean is kind of vast, made up of diversity of many people all over, people of different caliber and timber, people of can easily get intoxicated, etc. The ocean is not somehow easy. I'm just talking pertaining to what you're saying. So how do you adapt when you leave the pond? Pond is more like you are contented in a good environment, confined, more like man-made. Yeah, let me just put that way. And if you go to the ocean, it's more like natural. You meet diverse and diversities of things, people, and stuff like that. How do you adapt in order for you to do things in the right way? In order for you not to get eaten, let me just put that way. Because in the ocean, fishes, there are some fishes that have their limits. They don't go to this particular part of the ocean, and this whale does not go to this particular part of the ocean.
So your
So
question
my
is,
question.
how do we adapt, right?
Yes, yes, sir. How do we adapt when you get to the ocean? How do we adapt in order for you to
Uh,
do the thing rightly? Thank you, man.
right. Ma, please, you are mute. You are mute. Your mic is muted. Waire, your mic is
Okay,
muted.
sorry
All
about
right.
that. So, okay, Spencer, I think I've said some things about um adaptation, but you just said something that I like. There are some fishes in the ocean, but they are not safe. Yes. So because they are not safe, it means that anything can happen to them. Yes, we know that the whales and the shark, they may not be, anything, they may not be able to go towards some areas of the ocean, but they are safer than the smaller ones. So the whales can adapt more, the shark can adapt more than the smaller ones that anything can happen to them, including the shark eating them or just opening his mouth and the smaller ones just go into their. There are some fish like that, they just open their mouths and anything that is on their way goes into them. Anything, everything enters, including the smaller ones that decide to go into the ocean. They would have just stayed in their pond and live longer. If you want to walk in the ocean, you must choose to be a big fish. If not, you will not survive it. The ocean is not for small boys, it's for big boys. And that's where impact comes. Impact is for the big fish, irrespective of if the fish has a disability or not, irrespective of if the fish has amputation or if the fish has visual impairment or not. No fish wants to know that you have a disability. All what we want to know is, are you a big fish? If you are a big fish, we will give you space. If you are a small fish, you will enter my mouth. That's how it works. So if you want to stay in the pond, we know you want to be in the pond. But if we have decided that we no longer want to be in the pond, then you must go with the price that goes with being in the ocean. There is a price to stay, adapt, and survive in the ocean. And that was the prize I was trying to talk about. The prize in surviving in the ocean is the prize of being big, so that nobody can intimidate you. Dr. Samuel, yes, talked the first time about a man known as Nick Vicus. He's in the ocean. Nobody, not even a president, can intimidate that man, even though he has no hands and no limbs. Nobody can intimidate him. Nobody even sees his disability anymore. Yes, we can say, oh, he lives in Australia, but that is not it. There are many other people that live in the UK and they are in the pond. I live in the UK. Some people live in the UK, some people live in US and they are living like in the pond. But this man decided that I don't want to be in the pond. And now there is no president that does not honor him. If he chooses to go to the US, it will be interviewed that he's in the US. It will go online. If he chooses to hold a conference now, everybody, including those that have two hands, including other fish in the ocean, we want to be in that meeting with him because he have paid this price of being in the ocean. So if you want to be in the ocean, decide to pay the price. Decide that I will not be the smaller fish in the ocean because there is no adaptation strategy for smaller fishes or smaller fish. Decide you want to be the big fish occupying the space. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you, Waire. I guess there's no other question because some persons in Kenya, time is fast spent in Kenya already. It's already 12 a.m. Kenya. So thank you, man. Thank you for being around tonight. Can we appreciate her again once with our emojis? Please, let's show Waire we appreciate her, we love her.
Thank you,
Please.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Right. Let me quick announcement before we go. Okay, can you turn on your cameras? Let's take family photo first before our speaker goes.
Yeah.
Please. All right. Can we turn on our cameras to take our family photo? If you can, if you're in a good environment, you can turn it on. Good. All right, thank you. Smile now. All right. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Waire. Nice. A quick announcement regarding our module and